What's up, everybody? Sudeep Tumma here, back with another NBA draft player breakdown. This time we'll be looking at Chet Holmgren, the very talented Gonzaga big man, likely to be a top three pick, along with Jabari Smith and Paolo Banchero, who we looked over the past couple of weeks. And I think Holmgren's really up there with those top three. There's a reason there's a consensus up there, but this guy has to be the most misunderstood prospect we've seen in a lot of years because it's with him. There's a combination of size for good and bad. It's 7 foot with a 7'6" wingspan, but also 190 pounds with a very slender frame, which is slightly a cause for concern, admittedly. But also, he's got immense talent. I mean, Dick Vitale called him the most unique player in college basketball, and he is. He is so agile for his size. He's got so many great traits, and he's already very talented, and he's just oozing with upside, honestly. And with Holmgren, you get a two-way player, legitimately, who's great in all aspects of the game. There's obviously some weakness here, but it all kind of roots back to size for the most part. You talk about his talent, there's a lot of it. And we start with Holmgren. We start with the shooting. He is a perimeter-orientated player who can attack you downhill. And over here with this clip, we'll see him here as a shooter and a floor spacer. And a lot of his shots are going to be like this. Over here, you'll see him down there. He's coming in that roll replace action. Drew Timme setting the pick. Holmgren just slides up the top and right here. Right? He's wide open, obviously got a lot of space, and shoots that, and you see the release, and you see how tall he is. There's very few people blocking his shot, right? He's got a very good stroke, shoots about 39% from deep. And with him, you're not going to get a guy who's going to, dribble up on you, size you up, step back, crossover, all those moves. He's really a floor spacer who's going to work off those spot up looks, but he does have a little one dribble sidestep. He's got that with the pump fake, or in transition is one place where you're going to see some of the point forward handle skills he's got on the open floor, and then he will come up to the three-point line and pull up. For the most part, those are his pull-ups. The rest of it, he either shoots it, pump fakes it, and drives. But he certainly got a great stroke, and you see it there. At 7 foot with his length, he's got the ability to just shoot over everyone, which gives him a major advantage, especially with the way he moves. And over here, we'll see Holmgren, work off of a dribble drive. And he's very good at attacking the rim, but from this angle, we'll kind of just see him as a coming up from the post area. You see him catch the ball. And first things first, watch him. He is a very high IQ player, and he understands. He has a great feel for the game, and he uses body leverage very well, which you'll see with some of the other clips as well. But over here, he catches that ball, right? And watches this. You see when he catches that ball, as soon as he gets it, he understands the body. The defender is trying to front him and steal that ball because it's so difficult, and because of that, he immediately starts stepping, right? He understands he has to step right here. What does he do? He comes in, gets contested, but watch this hop step. I mean, this is like guard-like. Right? Goes, hop step, and finishes through. And it's kind of crazy. It really is. I mean, at a guy at that size, even if he's 190 pounds, to have that sort of handle and moves like a guard, it is pretty mesmerizing, to be honest. And that's one of the beginning of it. And watch here, right? The little step and go up. And then here we'll see some of that transition, point forward skills. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't have crazy handles like a Paolo Banchero where he can kind of size you up and step back and cross over and move east to west. He's really a downhill guy. And over here we'll see that he's got a lot more burst than he'll show in this clip. He's kind of slow stepping a little bit. He can go a little faster, but watch this, right? Steps a few. That nice little behind the back gets Miles Johnson on that. And then he just attacks the rim. And watch that stride also. That's pretty crazy. Right, couple steps behind the back, and then just goes downhill and attacks. That's what he's great at. And over here, I was just talking about body leverage, right? You watch it here. Watch where he is down there. He is not the biggest guy, obviously, but he's so smart and uses whatever size he has very well. So when he's getting those post up looks or face up looks or whatever, and kind of here a little ducking, these are the type of things he does so well. He uses his body and he creates a little space. And Drew Timme is also a very solid passer. We'll find him here very easily. But what I want to highlight is at the very end, where he finishes through contact really well. Because you think about 190 pounds, everyone assumes with that sort of frame and that slender frame, he is not a physical player, right? That's kind of the first thought that comes to your mind. He's quite the opposite. He is always seeking contact. He will finish through contact. And, sometimes because of the 190 pounds, he does get pushed off his spot a little bit. That is 100% true. Whether he's driving or in the post, he can get, and even post defense, you'll see some of that later. He can get pushed off because of the height, but he does things like this where he uses the body and he attacks with whatever he can. And you know, physicality is more a mentality than it is just size. I mean, it's 100% a mentality. When you're physical, you're going in with whether you're 6 foot or 7 foot. It really doesn't matter. But here you see him with open up that duck and Timmy passes there and then watch him attack, right? Finish through contact. Simple, but he does that, and you love that for his future because you, again, like I said, you can't teach that sort of physicality. The moment he puts on 20, 30 pounds, however many pounds he can put on, it's just going to make him that all the more dangerous. And to address that, obviously, one of the issues with him is that frame, but the biggest problem is it's not the fact that he's 190 pounds, it's the fact that you're questioning how much he can really put on that frame. We talk about someone like Jabari Smith, who's got to put on pounds as well. He's got a wider base, and he's going to be able to put on that if he does. It's kind of a question with Chet and how much he can do it. But again, with his knowledge, his IQ, his skill, his athleticism, I mean, you see a lot of the short area quickness. He's already a challenge to defend. And over here we'll see we just talked about his ability to kind of attack the rim, right? And off of those pump fakes, he will go downhill drive off of those 3-point looks. But over here you'll see some of the counter. He's got a very good mid range. But the way he shoots mid-range is not like Jabari Smith or Paolo Banchero or honestly any of the very talented mid-range guys we think about. And the difference with him is, like I said, he's always trying to attack downhill. That's his number one. The mid-range is really a counter to that. So you watch him here, right? No handles, go in. And Mark Williams, a very talented Duke big man, plays him pretty well and doesn't let him get straight to the rim, right? So he gets there, and right here, AJ Griffin down below. He comes and helps, and Chet feels that. What does he do? He stops. So this is kind of what he does pretty often when you know he's about to pull up. You'll see him turn around on that drive, right here. This is the turnaround, and then from there, he'll hit fadeaways, the turnaround jumper, and the Dirk move. It's beautiful. It goes in. And he's flashed a lot of that, and that's kind of the counter, right? Where you didn't see it in this video, but like I said, off of those 3-point looks, like the first one we saw, if a defender is closing out, he can pump fake and just drive straight in off of that. He's got good handle, and from there he can do a variety of different things. So, but like I was saying, when he doesn't get to the rim, when he doesn't get to his spots where he knows he can shoot those layups, he will turn around and shoot like that. And he's shooting 60+% on a lot of different looks, and a lot of that efficiency just comes down to that knowledge and understanding of what a smart shot is. And over here, we will see Chet use his footwork. Something he does so well. I mean, his footwork is really one of his best traits, and that's kind of why he's great down low when you see him posting up and just moving in general. And like we saw the hop step earlier, you watch him, he gets the ball here, and again, leverage, right? He sees the defender, he feels the defender, try to step up and swat that ball away a little bit. Watch his right foot. See how high it's extended? Understanding where if he can leverage that defender's body out, he's got a better position, right? So he gets the ball right here. He feels that defender has a step behind him. So what does he do? He dribbles right to that side. Defender recovers. What does he do? Spins around, steps forward, finishes through. It's great. I mean, the footwork hands are really two of the biggest things you like with big men. I mean, with any player really, but big men especially. And he's got phenomenal footwork. He really does. And something we said about Banchero as well. But yeah, you see it, right? Step forward and go. And he's got an incredible touch around the rim. That's something else, again, you almost need with the big men, but it's not just how tall he is. He's just got a soft touch around, and he completes most layups because of that. And over here, we talked about the physicality earlier with finishing through contact, and here we'll see it once again. So this post-up's going to turn into a little face-up right there, and then the rip move, right, from left to right. And then dribbles, body, bump body, feels it, and goes. He uses ball fakes and pump fakes very, very well, and here you see it, right? He's bumping down on Jaquez and drives right into that chest. And like I said, I mean, you see him getting bumped, right, a little bit. He's getting pushed off because he's 190 pounds, so he's not going to straight line to the drive, but he makes up for some of that with his length and with his kind of athleticism, right? He feels that pick, and then he goes up. And then over here, we'll see the counter to that again, like we saw with the attacking the rim. Here you're going to see him on Mark Williams once again, And it feels that, turns into a face-up. Instead of attacking the baseline, he goes into the middle of the court. Again, understands where he is. He knows he's not going to be able to try to take a post hook or something from there. So what does he do? Turns his back to Williams, and then from there, he'll turn around, Dirk move again. And like I said, he's got the turnaround jumper, the fadeaway. He's got some of that there. And then I think this is one of the most, I guess, underrated aspects of his game that, people just never talk about. And it almost makes him just all the more difficult to defend. So you see Holmgren up there at that three-point line, and Drew Timme's down in the post. Now, Timmy's obviously All-American, excellent player, a very, very good player. He's going to attract a lot of attention and a lot of eyes, right? And watch Timmy. As he ball fakes, how many eyes are on him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Everyone is on Drew Timme right now, right here. You got 5 guys on Timmy. And watch Holmgren at the top. His off-ball movement, his cutting ability. It's his feel, and also, like I said, the short area burst. He's got some of that athleticism, foot speed, but it's just the feel and the understanding and the IQ to cut, right? Watch him time it. And he doesn't cut and he doesn't move until Timmy ball fakes and puts that first dribble. It's almost asynchronized. Watch this. Right, Timmy gets it. He'll fake, ball goes down. Holmgren starts moving. And, right, easy. I mean, little dump off. But it's these off-ball cuts in basketball are just so much more based on your feel and understanding of the game. Athleticism can help you, right? A lot of those cuts, speed, size, whatever. But this just makes it all the more difficult. Right here, he gets a clean look. But even when he doesn't, it's already so hard to defend him straight up when you have proper position. Now you're really asking guys to defend him when he's on the move. I mean, it makes it so difficult. Now over here, we'll see Holmgren's passing ability, which is one of his just, we just talked about all the scoring and a lot of ways he can score like that, but he's also an excellent playmaker. I think all 3 of the guys we touched on have very good passing vision, but this guy especially. And you watch it, he can do it from the perimeter, standing there, he can do it from the post, and he can do it on the move, which you love, right? Much like a guard. You watch him drive in, little toss, and right here, he gets doubled, and it just opens up a huge cut. Watch there, cut, and go. Great vision. And then here, once again, this is what I love. Like Timmy attracts double teams, this guy does as well, right? He gets there, kind of feeling him out. Steps 2, double teams here. But there's 2 things to note here. First off, look how high his arms are, right? This is what makes him such a valuable passer. It's not just the passing vision, which we shouldn't take for granted. He's excellent vision, he has excellent instincts, and he's a savvy passer. He knows exactly where all 5 guys are at all times. But it's this, his height and his length, and his smart knowledge, I guess, to keep the ball up there and not be stolen, allows him to just create passing angles that normally aren't there. And you watch who he's passing to, right? Over in the corner, wide open, sure. But that is a difficult pass, not just because you're throwing across the court, but what he does so well is he hits you in stride in this instinct in general. Like on a skip pass, a lot of times, unless you're LeBron James or something, when the guy's passing it, it's either going to be a slow velocity pass because it's high arcing, or it's just going to be a foot or 2 up, down, left, right. And by the time the defender catches it, the defense is already rotated back, and it's not easy. It's not as easy a shot as you thought it was. But watch how precisely this pass comes, right in the shooting pocket. And because of that, even though the defense rotates, it's a late contest, and it's just perfect because he's able to hit it right in that shooting pocket. And it's the little details sometimes. It's the fact that he can do that, and it's so precise, and it's right there, that it goes in. I mean, like any shooter will tell you, like catching it in that pocket is all the more valuable. For a cut, catching the ball in stride rather than behind you, in front of you, wherever, it just makes it that all the more easier. And over here, we saw the clip with Timmy earlier with a little pass off, and these 2 coexist very, very well. And some of that has to do with, Holmgren. Well, one, his shooting ability and his ability to stretch the floor, but also his ability to play within the flow of an offense. He's so smart, and he's smart. It's a high IQ, and he's never rushed. He's always going at his own pace, and not to say he can't be aggressive and go and get his basket, but it's smart. It's understanding how many playmakers are on this Gonzaga team, which obviously is going to be contending for a national title. But over here, you're going to see that high-low game, which it's not. I won't say it's a dying art per se in the NBA, but the less two big men we see, the less we see of it. But the great thing with Holmgren here is kind of his versatility, right? We obviously assume that he's going to play the five in the NBA, but you can really put him at the four with another big man like this because he can do stuff like this, the passing, attacking off, and so on. And he gives you some of that versatility. And watch it here when he catches here. This is the duck in, right? I mean, obviously you have a huge gap right there to pass it to, but you see this all the time with these two. Holmgren, again, look how high the ball is, right? And because it's up there, because his arms are up there, again, creates easy passing angles. Now, obviously, a lot of guys can make this pass when they're that open, but it's the ability to just plop it in there perfectly and go up. Now, over here, as you can imagine, Holmgren's a very, very good shot blocker, but he does it in two types of ways. Here we'll see him as a weak side help defender come and block shots. And I think he blocks maybe 3.4 blocks in 25 minutes, which is a very, very good rate. And you'll see him here slide over here. He has good foot speed. I won't say amazing foot speed, but whatever he might lack for an inch, he makes up for with his length and his vertical, which I don't think there's a reported number, but it is pretty impressive. And you'll see how high he gets up. And so he feels it, right? UCLA guard is coming down, or downhill. I believe that's Peyton Watson, who's also another NBA draft prospect. Holmgren feels it out, steps over, and look how high he is. I mean, he gets up there, and he blocks it. And that's why he blocks a lot of shots. And when he doesn't block shots, he is altering a lot of shots. And one of the things I love about him is he's not, you see with a lot of big men, a lot of young, raw big men sometimes with great, leaping ability, they're jumping for joy, they're jumping at everything. This guy has a very good understanding. I don't know how, it's almost second nature, but he doesn't jump for the pump fake somehow. He always feels it out. And again, some of that can be aided by the fact that he has so much length where he doesn't need to jump to contest stuff, but he just has such a good feel for when the ball's actually going up, and that's why he swats so much and he doesn't really get beat. He is a legitimate rim protector. And then over here's the second one. Holmgren's over there in the corner, and defending out there because I think the ball was bobbled out there. But here, like I talked about, 190 pounds, he's going to be pushed off his spot a little bit. But again, one, you want him to put on more weight. But two, he already makes up for some of that because of that length and that shot blocking ability. So you'll see here, right? Gets pushed. Couple dribbles, you see where he is now, and he keeps getting pushed down up to here, right? This is pretty good position for most big men. But you see Holmgren, he's always keeping his arms up, right? And because of that, we'll watch in slow motion. Perfect, right? And he does this a lot. This is not a one-off clip. His post defense is almost shot blocking. And you see it a lot. I've seen guys that are, I think, 6'6", kind of do this to him a little bit and get good space, or rather get good penetration in where most people can flip a shot up, or flip a layup up rather. But this guy's got such good length, and he's also physically minded, right? He doesn't give up that kind of stuff. So when that ball goes up, he's blocking it, he's contesting it, he's altering it, which is just awesome. And here we're going to see a little pick and pop with Paolo Banchero, the other, top 3 pick, and these two have kind of been pitted against each other. And this clip starts a little bit later, but Holmgren is on Banchero to start this play, and then he slides over onto Trevor Keels as the pick and roll help defender, but he's only hedging, and he's going to rotate back to Banchero in a second. Now, first things first, Banchero's about to get this ball. Now, for most guys, you talk about dribble drives and working off of that, because when the defender is rotating late, you already have that step and that advantage, right? That already puts Chet at a disadvantage here against one of the best players in the nation. What does he do? Look at that, right? Doesn't fall for any fake. It doesn't fall for any jab step. Doesn't fall for whatever. Just stays square. And then from there, Banchero starts on the dribble drive, which he is very, very good at. But watch two things. You'll see the length. But watch Holmgren's just ability to stay with him, right? With the lateral quickness. And he doesn't have the best, greatest lateral quickness, but his strides are already long. And he's got great length that he makes up for a lot of ground that he's not covering with his feet. I think he has pretty underrated foot speed compared to, I think, what most people kind of see him as. But you see him here, and then again, using that length. And here Banchero wasn't as physical, There was another clip I know when we reviewed Paolo Banchero that Paolo kind of uses physicality, got into the chest of Holmgren and scored because he was able to bump him off with that 190-pound frame. But very few people are doing that. But it does bring up the point when it gets to the NBA, when guys are bigger, faster, stronger. How is Holmgren going to be affected on both sides of the ball, right? On offense, is he able to drive those things when he's pushed off his spot? On defense, are some of the quicker guys going to be able to get past him, or the bigger guys, or anything, right? There's some questions that definitely come up. But here, you already see it, right? It's the understanding and the defensive intensity. That's what I love. And he sticks with it. Keeps his feet moving, keeps his arms up, and because of that, stops it. And over here, I mean, as you can guess, this guy's a really good rebounder. But again, it's not just the physical traits; it's the willingness to box guys out that I love. And you watch it here; he's gonna flip his head a few times. That's what I want to first highlight. Right, watch his head. Just watch his head slowly. Right, one head tilt to the right. Keep staying. 2 to the right. And then the ball goes up, 3 to the right. And the reason I say that is he's keeping track of where Miles Johnson is the entire time Johnny Juzang is dribbling. He doesn't lose discipline. And then you see the ball goes up, he's first instinct. And this is even a hard box out. It's just sliding, getting your hands on him, so you know if Miles Johnson tries to push the issue, you're going to push him out. And gets good position, and because of that, Miles just can't just push him around. Like, my whole point is Chet is not just relying on his size, his vertical, his length to just go grab rebounds. He does that plus the technique, and that's what makes it just so difficult to try to grab rebounds around him. And this is Johnny Juzang, who is a very, very good shot maker, obviously, as we all know, but he doesn't lose discipline. He doesn't lose eyes, and he's not worried about it. He stays square, and he knows that if he needs to, he can slide over. Like we saw with the clip a few minutes ago with the weak side help slipping over. But here he just grabs him, stays square, and then here, right? It's the length. And this is where it is, the length, the vertical, to just pluck the ball out of the air. And he does it with regularity. And from there he takes it in transition, as he does. But this is the last thing I want to highlight. It's the offensive rebounding. When it comes to offensive rebounding, it's not just about the vertical. It's not just about the physical traits. It's not just about the technique. Sometimes it's just about tenacity. And when he's down there, he's going to keep pushing through, try to get it. But over here, he's at the three-point line right now, and he's just going to run in straight up and just get around the defenders. A lot of times, rebounding is just about wanting it more. It really is. And again, that's why we see Steph Curry at 6 foot whatever grab rebounds over bigger guys. And vice versa. Bigger guys not able to grab rebounds because they're not putting in that effort. That's what it comes down to. And you watch him up there. As soon as that shot goes up, he's just going, right? As soon as that ball's caught, he's already running. Watch him go and just go grab that ball and post hook catch. And this is what I'm talking about, right? You love all these different traits with him. The talent, the skill is there, the motor, the IQ, the athleticism. Again, not the, overall athleticism for sure. Straight line speed is not the greatest, but it's very good, I think. Especially in transition, he shows out good bursts. But it's the quickness. He just kind of glides along the floor. And you see a lot of the traits he works with. And there have been a lot of Kristaps Porzingis comparisons, and I think they're pretty apt for the most part. You see a lot of it, especially with working off the three-point game. When Porzingis first came in the league, there wasn't as much shot creating by himself. It was more off of those three-point shots, and then the pull-up mid-range from the elbows and so on, and then some 1-2 dribble pull-ups off of pump fakes, which Holmgren doesn't have yet, but I think as development continues, he's going to get better at it. He's going to do more of that in his post game also. We didn't talk too much about like the stuff he does in the post because most of it kind of at this point relies on that size, IQ, physicality, which is kind of, it's good enough for now, but he doesn't have, repertoire of post moves. You don't see you see some post hooks, you see post spins, which all include the footwork and so on, and the rip moves, but there isn't really a whole repertoire. There's no drop step, there's no up and under and blah blah and so on. But that's what makes it just all the more crazy, right? He's got still so much room for improvement, which is why you talk about the upside and how just how much upside there is. He's a guy with a high ceiling for the NBA, And does he have a higher ceiling than anyone else in this draft? Maybe. I think Jabari Smith might be the only other person you really compare him to in that regard. But that's what makes Chet so special. And that's why I think he's headed for stardom 100%. And he's got a lot of talent and he's got a lot of ability. Obviously, there are some concerns, but when you root back to it, there's not a lot of things you really point to and worry. The size is really the main thing for the few things. Now, he makes up for some of that with the length, but like I said, we'll see once he gets to the NBA how that kind of affects. But there's a lot to like with this guy, without question. But thank you for listening, everyone. If you like this, please like, subscribe. Check out dbl-coverage.com for the full scouting report and other content on NBA draft guys, college basketball guys. And thank you.